petitions, presentations, and public meetings. Today from the Georgian Triangle Tourism Association, we have Melissa Henderson and Martin Bridlow.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks. With an update on GTTA initiatives. Welcome.
Good morning. Is this controlling the slides?
Yes.
Sometimes.
There's an explosive button.
Yeah, that's the red one.
If you speak too long.
There's an eject button.
Oh, just arrow down. There you go.
Does the laser pointer work? Oh.
Yes.
Batteries out.
Maybe it's just going to sleep. Sleeping.
You guys just started to look a little better.
It's working. Look, it's working.
You guys just started to look a little better.
You're right into this. There we go. Thank you. Okay.
Notice you're still here though. That's the problem.
There you go.
The lights are on.
If I could sneak out and think I could get rid of it.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, I just want to make sure that. Should we wait for the chair?
Oh no, she just moved here,
Oh,
so
there
she
she
can
is.
see.
I'm sorry, I moved so that I could see the screen. I apologize.
Madam Chair, Mayor Smith, members of council, it gives us great pleasure to come and speak on behalf of the Georgian Triangle Tourism Association. Lisa and I are board members on the GTTA, and given that Wasaga supports it through advertising in the various brochures and materials that we do, we thought it would be prudent for us to come and give you an update in terms of what's happening at the Georgian Triangle Tourism Association. Just as a reminder, the GTTA's purpose is to help visitors get around the Georgian Triangle tourism area before, during, and in some cases even after their visit. And it's a chance to link the region together as a borderless, collaborative tourism experience. Our board meetings are always, I would say, very energetic because that spirit of collaboration really exists there. So it's really neat to see how the various municipalities are working together and how we're also thinking about the various businesses and making sure that it's a truly seamless experience here for visitors, and really think about it regionally. And Lisa will share some of the efforts that we're doing, particularly into Quebec, recognizing that for Wasaga Beach, that is certainly a priority market, but it's also becoming important for other areas as people come into Wasaga. Thank you. So how is the GTTA managed? You see that we've got a strong board of directors. We're also affiliated with Catherine from Tourism Simcoe, as well as Brian Plumstead from Grey County, because of course we straddle two different counties. We also have representation up to Meaford. And you'll see that we also have representation from some tourism businesses, some restaurants, really helps round out that overall perspective that we can provide, so there's truly a public-private partnership that goes on there. How we are managed, and more specifically how we operate. Board of directors exists that we just reviewed. Brittany is our senior tourism rep and works with Drew and summer staff. We have a bookkeeper, and we also have a graphic designer that we work with on a regular basis. So it's a very fast-moving organization, if you will. We like to keep it as, if you will, tight as possible so that we can be as efficient as possible. By the numbers, the visitor center over at the Station Museum in Collingwood is open 364 days a year, with a very large number of visitors that are greeted face to face. I was just in there yesterday for only half an hour, and I had 3-4 people coming in there talking to the staff, and this is on a Wednesday afternoon in a non-peak period. So they're bracing themselves for the May long weekend. Interesting statistic, we keep very good statistics on who are the visitors coming in and asking questions. 50% are 25 to 54 years old, and a quarter of those are staying one day, the rest are staying for longer periods. So it's what we want to see in the region, people staying overnight. And 29% of the visits from the GTA. So that really means that while the GTA is an important area, so are some of the other regions within southern, southwestern Ontario. What are some of the other things that we do? We've got a fantastic website. We just actually launched a French component to that this year. We've got some fantastic content on there that's been developed over the years, from beer tours to great beaches to great trails to great drives. So there's some really rich content in there. We've got social media channels, Facebook, Instagram are our primary ones. The visitor guides, which you have in front of you, are a real cornerstone of what we do, because it provides a 4-season overview of some of the key events, amenities, and attractions here. And Marlisa will talk a little bit more about what we're planning for 2017 and actually doing in 2017. We have a regional map. We do a summer one as well as a winter one, because we found that the needs of the tourists are dramatically different, obviously, based on the different attractions that are here. And last but not least, we have over 40 different information racks around the southern Georgian Bay area that provide our members with a chance to put their brochures out into key traffic locations for tourists. Some of the highlights for 2016, we hired a dedicated account manager focused on really member engagement. She has unfortunately since left, but we are looking at trying to have someone new come on board to really do that account management and marketing aspect that is an important service within the GTTA. We've distributed see-and-do guides out to regional distribution locations. Kitchener-Waterloo is an area that we've done fairly significant drops in, because we've had very positive responses there. Our website traffic keeps on going. If you Google any of the main attractions around here, we find that visit southgeorgianbay.ca, the website, pops up as one of the top 10 searches on a regular basis. We work very collaboratively with Simcoe and Grey County in terms of trying to seek out additional funding opportunities. We have been elevating the area's awareness through PR, working in partnership with a number of different PR companies, and basically just helping them. And we haven't even necessarily have to pay them, but when they're doing efforts, they're looking for attractions, they're looking for gift packages and so on. We've been very helpful with them, and as a result, they've been very helpful back to us. And we've had positive member engagement in terms of testimonials. We've got a good partnership going on with the different BIAs and the Blue Mountain Village Association. Clearview has come on board as a full municipal member. And we're looking to get more engaged on the accommodator front as well. Here is one highlight from Wasaga Beach for your awareness. And over to Marlisa to talk about what we're doing on 2017.
Thanks, Martin. Hi, everyone. So 2017 has already been very busy for us at the GTTA. We really started in November producing that new see-and-do guide that Martin's handed out to everyone. And we've made a huge effort to make sure that that see-and-do guide was printed and in the market by the end of January. So kind of just jumping to the see-and-do guide growth, we actually decided with the help of our partners, our municipal partners, Simcoe and Grey County, as well as Wasaga Beach. We met multiple times in the fall to discuss the redesign of the guide, as well as the idea of inserting a 16-page or creating a 16-page companion piece in French for the see-and-do guide. So we actually increased the amount of English copies of the guide from 100,000 copies to 200,000 copies, and we produced 90,000 copies of a 16-page French guide as well. So by basically by adding the structure, the partnership funding piece with our partners in Simcoe and Grey, we were able to almost triple the amount of see-and-do guides that we produced in 2017 versus 16.
Hello.
Okay, all right. So that we'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. We've, as Martin had said, we did have a account manager in 2016. We are in the process of reposting that job opportunity. and hope to have somebody new in place by the end of June. We've also increased the amount of spring-summer maps. Last year, we produced 20,000 of the maps that you've been given here today, and went through them very, very quickly. We were actually out of stock of the map before the end of summer. So we bumped up that amount of printing to 25,000 copies and have had really great success already in distributing the map. It just got printed a couple of weeks ago. Digital development, as Martin said, we have new French content on our website. We really believe that our website has a very strong market for the region in attracting visitors here. We do additional things with our website. For example, we will take events and actually create web pages through our website to promote new events for different municipalities like Collingwood, because we do have traffic and visitors already going to our site. We've got a great communications and visitor information, and what we really are focusing on in 2017 is bringing all of the visitor centers in our region together so that we're collecting the same kind of visitor stats, talking about the same kind of web analytics, and launching that accommodation report so that we can all be talking the same language from Meaford all the way through to Wasaga Beach and beyond. And then we're always looking for ways to participate in regional events, and of course our brochure rack program is a huge success. So getting back to the CNDU guide, because that's really why we wanted to meet with you today, is talk about the growth plan for this guide. As I mentioned, we've almost tripled the amount of exposure we have in print for the CNDU guide, including the French piece. And we've already distributed over 150,000 copies of the guide. So as you can see, the week of March 13th, we really focused on Quebec Drop. And we picked that week because that's the week after Quebec's March break. It's our March break, March 13th, but we really wanted to get them get out there in the market early and get them thinking about planning their summer vacation as soon as possible. So total distribution in the province of Quebec, and really focusing on the island of Montreal, was 76,000 brochures. Of that, we did a polybagged program with the Montreal Gazette, which is the #1 English newspaper in Montreal, and we kind of polybagged the English guide with the French insert, and then we did an additional, it's called a door handle delivery to about 34,000 residences in Montreal. That was very targeted using the PRISM analytics that the RTO, Bruce Gray Simcoe, has access to. So we were really able to target families, people that like to take driving vacations, love beaches, for example, love cycling and trails, and really target those brochures to those people. So we're really excited about that. We're just tracking that kind of feedback now, watching our Google Analytics. We've received lots of phone calls to the visitor center, lots of email inquiries to get more information, and we're really hoping that our stakeholders in the area can keep us abreast of what they're seeing from Quebec as well this summer. As well is the Ontario side of things. The week following March 20th, which of course is the week after our March break, we got out there with over 83,000 guides and really targeted, again, using the PRISM environics and analytics from the RTO, and specifically Grey County and Simcoe County. We really targeted the areas that we see huge potential with in kind of that southwestern part of Ontario. And then, of course, we were able to tap into, through the RTO and some of our contacts there, we were able to tap into Camping Ontario, which we've never really been in contact with in the past, and they took our guides to shows in Quebec City as well as Montreal. So just an overview on the reasons why we think the GTTA is a good return on your investment in Wasaga Beach. You know, again, we're a volunteer and industry-driven board of directors. We meet monthly. We're really, you know, a roll up our sleeves kind of working board. Visitor information, of course, you know, we're open 365 days of the year in Collingwood, but that doesn't limit us to Collingwood. We are very active in the other information centers from Beeford all the way through to Stayner. Year-round brochure distribution system, that's our 40 plus racks in the region. Our referral service for visitor information. Our See and Do guide, which of course we just talked a lot about, and our online presence through our social media channels and our website. Visitor maps, of course, is huge, getting people to drive through the region and know what to expect. And our public relations communication support, of course, things like this are really, really key, and we want to make sure that you know what we're doing out there. We are constantly looking for research and to kind of strategize and make sure that what we're doing is relevant and we're collaborative and fiscally responsible. So that's pretty much the presentation. We'd love, if you have any questions, we'd love to take them. If not,
Thank you. Are there questions for Melissa and Martin? Councillor
Yes,
Martin?
just in going through the guide, I noticed there were no food establishments listed for Wasaga. Is that you just don't get any takers on the ads?
well, the listings are our members in Wasaga Beach see a restaurant listing, but what we try to do is incorporate Wasaga Beach certainly into some of our drives or our hiking or cycling kind of components to build that content for you.
Yeah. So on the same thing, would we be distributing the guide to any accommodation providers or food service? Like, I'm just thinking that if there was a covering letter and that some of them should be in here. It's a great guide. So
Yeah, we again we're always trying to approach new businesses, and we'd love for as many businesses as possible to come on board and get involved with what we're doing. So yeah, if you know of any businesses in Wasaga that would be interested, we'll definitely be in touch.
And certainly we do stay in touch with Johanna on a very regular basis. Dropping off this box, had a good discussion with this Wasaga Beach Brewing Company just last week. So certainly if there are any other ideas such as sending it out with a cover letter or so on from the town would certainly be much appreciated.
Our CEO had a question?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a contextual question. Maybe just as part of your presentation, I'm not sure who could maybe just describe how the GTTA fits in with the overall tourism picture. RTO 7, the county, you guys, what we're doing, just so members of the committee have a kind of a contextual sense in terms of how you fit in.
Okay. Great question, and so we see ourselves as the on-the-ground personal touch point for the visitors as well as for the stakeholders in the region. So the bigger picture is, of course, Ontario Tourism, well, Destination Canada is way up there at the top. They're bringing international visitors into the region, into all regions of Canada. The Ontario Tourism Group then takes some of what Destination Canada does, but then focuses on their real market opportunities, who their visitors are, and brings it into the region. Below that, of course, are the RTOs. So Bruce Gray Simcoe is Region 7, that's us, and their job is to build that region into a very specific kind of differentiators, basically for us, for redirecting a visitor, and then they talk about their region specifically. And then you get down to more of our level, which is the destination management organizations, and we become more clustered into a certain small subset of that overall picture, that county picture. But again, we really become the face-to-face visitor opportunity. We're the visitor center, but we're also making sure that when the visitors come into the region, we're able to direct them to those various activities, attractions, restaurants, dining, all of those different things that they want to do, with the support of all of those other layers. So we see certainly predominantly Ontario visitors, but it's not to say that we don't see some of that international traffic that Ontario tourism, as well as Destination Canada, is also sending our way. Does that kind of cover it?
Great.
Okay.
Councillor Go.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Well done. It's just, I noticed in here, especially under Georgian Bay golf courses, you list 5 golf courses, but we have 3 in Wasaga Beach. I don't see any of them listed in here. I just wondered if there was a reason for that?
Yeah, again, most of the guide is membership driven. So if a stakeholder in the region is not a member, then they may not get the exposure that we really want them to have. So it is a matter of approaching everybody and making sure that they're aware of the kind of opportunities that we have to offer.
Good. Well, just so I understand, so in other words, these 5 golf courses that are in here are members?
Yes.
I see, okay, because you have them listed under South Georgian Bay golf courses. So in other words, the ones in Wasaga Beach are not members?
Right.
Thank you.
Councillor Smith.
Just a couple of questions through you, Madam Chair. Do you carry the Wasaga Beach visitor guides in
Yes,
your
we do.
offices?
Yes.
So when somebody comes in looking for things to do, what is your first brochure you hand out? This Visit South Georgian Bay? Is that what your first choice would be? Or is it allow people pick up what they want?
Well, yeah, basically they pick up what they're really interested in. So our tourism counselor's job is to pull out the map first and foremost and say, here's where you are, and then learn about what the visitor wants to do, how long they're staying in the region, who they're with, that kind of thing. And then we provide the information that they're really looking for. We're not necessarily just managing our own stuff. We're really trying to get them to see the value of traveling throughout the whole region.
Okay, and a subsequent question, if you don't mind, is do you link through your website to the Wasaga Beach Tourism website, which we've just had done?
Yeah, we do. Yes.
MRTO Center?
Yes,
Okay.
we have a great website that links through to all of our municipal partners, and again, the members get tremendous value from being part of the See and Do guide, but also the website.
Right, so, just a comment, years ago, we went through this, I was on the committee, and Wasaga Beach was always sort of the last little bit in the magazine. We didn't get much promotion whatsoever, but if this is user pay, to me, it doesn't really do justice to Wasaga Beach in some ways. Historical and whatever, just going through it quickly. I think that, to me, just a council, I think it behooves us to keep going with the visitor guide and our tourism services that we're trying to get done through Johanna, because I don't have a lot of confidence that we are being best served with your information at this point. So.
Madam Chair, if I may just add, Clearview joined 2 years ago as a municipal member at $15,000. As a result of them becoming a municipal member, and as a result of then having a seat at the board, it also shows a much larger commitment to the GTPA, and in return we've been able to become a municipal member, and that gets reflected in the kind of coverage. So we're really trying to do the best that we can. And certainly if there's interest in exploring that further, we'd like to step it up with what we're seeing in the guide and so on. That discussion is always one that would be very happy to entertain.
Back then, we did Jew for council information. We did mystery shoppers through the Georgian Triangle, a mystery shopper program, and Wasaga Beach, where they would say, "Well, it's too busy over there. Why don't you go here?" There wasn't a really good support coming from, and I hope under the new board that isn't happening.
That's very good feedback. Thank you.
Councillor
You know, I would just say, I think the whole thing is obviously there's, the GTA is gonna do multiple visits, you know, like there's many people that I know are coming up here into the South Georgian Bay, you know, 4, 5, 6 times a year or more, so all the exposure is good with where we're going, so, you know, that's one thing that, you know, I'd be willing to look at is becoming a municipal member.
Mr. CEO, when you finish commenting.
Yes. I just wanted to follow up on the comments that Councillor Smith made. I think that certainly in my experience, the GTTA mandate, the personnel involved, et cetera, has evolved, and I've had the fortune of sitting with them over several months. Just while we had a gap in terms of our economic development services, and since Johanna's come on board, she's certainly been involved, and I see what we've heard today. And my other point was with respect to the provision of tourism services within the municipality. As the committee knows, that is going through a transformation right now as well, in terms of our relationship with the Chamber of Commerce, the provision of tourism services, our hiring of our economic development officer focused on tourism. So there is an evolution happening right now within Wasaga Beach. It's still going to be a couple more years as things shake out with respect to that relationship with our Chamber of Commerce. But there may be an opportunity for the GTTA to play a part in that as the new paradigm becomes more apparent in terms of how we deliver tourism services within the municipality.
As a business owner, I think it's exciting because I think your reach is a lot greater than a local Chamber of Commerce. Mayor Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess the first question I have is, if we put number 1 in front of Wasaga Beach, do we get to be first on the list? Question, I'll let you think about that.
Okay.
Question number 2, has there been or would there be a willingness to consider an office in Wasaga Beach?
Yes, for visitor information.
Correct.
Yeah, we've talked about that in the past. The GTTA has, as I kind of alluded to in our presentation, we are involved in the visitor centers in Meaford, Craigleith Depot, which is in the town of Blue Mountains. We also train the staff, summer staff, specifically in the Stainer Information Center. So yes, there would definitely be, you know, whatever we could do to help augment your visitor services, we'd be happy to do that. We do see tremendous value in really coming at visitor services as a region, making sure that we're asking those same questions to our visitor, tracking where they're from, so that we can really bring all of those stats back to all of the municipalities, which we believe really helps economic development.
Thank you. And the answer to my first question?
It's right now, it's alphabetical order, so I like where you're coming from.
Spell our name backwards.
I just noticed on the back, Madam Chair, that Wasaga Beach on their map is not included in your area. Have you outlined the area? It doesn't include Wasaga Beach.
Any more questions?
Lots of opportunity.
Yes, sure.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
I think that has to do with membership.
Still, they say they represent the organization.
I'm not sure.
Okay, moving right along. Under unfinished business, we have none. Other agency reports, we have none. We have a consent agenda. One item that has been pulled, which is Director of Economic Development and Tourism, April activity report. So All items listed below will be approved by one resolution. There will be no separate discussion of those items unless a council member requests it, in which case the item will be removed from the consent resolution and considered immediately following adoption of the remaining consent agenda items. So it is moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Deputy Mayor Byfolchi. Resolved that the General Government Section of Coordinated Committee hereby receives the May 11, 2017 consent agenda, items 6D through to 6F, and that the recommendations contained therein be adopted as amended. Deputy Clerk.
With the motion having been read, we'll call for the vote. Councillor Belanger?
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Byfolchi?
In favor?
Councillor Ego?
In favor?
Councillor Smith?
In favor.
Mayor Smith?
In favor?
Councillor Stockwell?
Favor.
Chair Wright?
I'm usually right after you.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. The motion is carried.
Okay, I did pull one item in there.
Yes. So the item that was pulled is moved by Councillor Stockwell, seconded by Councillor Smith. Resolved that the General Government Services Section of Coordinated Committee receive the monthly April 2017 update report from the Economic Development and Tourism Department for information, and further that staff be directed to prepare a report pertaining to potential digital advertising signs for the town and report back to a future meeting of General Government with recommendations. Councillor Smith.
Thank you. Just a note in here, and perhaps Andrew can help me here, is it says staff is looking for direction from committee as to whether or not committee would like staff to look into this issue further. So I thought, if we passed it by, he wouldn't have any direction with regards to the digital advertising signs. He's looking for direction from this committee.
And were you willing to provide any? Or you were just opening it up
Well,
for
I
discussion?
think that's why I thought we needed discussion, because he's looking for direction, if I'm understanding that correctly.
So through you, Madam Chair. So what this is asking for, staff have been approached by a number of sign throughout the past year. And a number of them are in the digital sign business. They've indicated that the town might want to consider having some digital signs at the gateway to town, as well as some digital presence down at the beachfront. Because we have been approached by a number of companies, my recommendation would be that if committee would be interested in exploring this idea, it might make sense for staff to come back with a report detailing how perhaps we would recommend approaching this. My recommendation is that probably an RFP would be in order, given that there have been multiple companies approach the town, just to keep it fair and transparent. So we're just looking for direction if committee would like staff to pursue this as an idea. If you are interested in pursuing it, we can come back with a report outlining here's what we've heard from companies, here's an approach that might make sense, and here's a process they might want to consider moving forward. So that's what the intention is.
Councillor Ego.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just a comment. This was brought to my attention by Councillor Stockwell when he was visiting the presentation at Vimy Ridge at Camp Borden, and the reason it come to light was the commander of the police department, Commander Brown, mentioned to him that one of his requests would be, or what he'd like to see, is these kind of digital signs on the beach, maybe 2 or 3 of them properly located, which could be used not only for advertising in the town, but also it would be a great access for alert. In other words, if somebody was lost or something like that there, that it could go right up on the board like it does on the highways and stuff like that there when there's alert out for a lost child. I thought it was a great idea, as far as especially with the amount of people there is on the beach. And I surely would recommend this if there's companies out there that are willing to pay for these and promote them. It would be not only a great asset to the town because of the advertisement that they could get out of it, but it would also be an opportunity for local businesses to advertise on these signs. So I would definitely promote something like this.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. I have no issue.
the recommendation is directing staff to go back, look at it, and bring it back. So I have no issue with that. I would just think that some discussion should happen with our bylaw department, because I know in the past there was a flashing sign, and people really, it depends where they're located, because they do bother some people, depending on how close they are to their house or across the street. So I guess I would want to know how many are we looking at, and who's using them, and all of that.
Yeah.
Andrew?
And that's absolutely one of the issues. In our conversations with some of the sign companies, they have mentioned that has been an issue. If you've driven along the Gardner at night, there are some of those that are just really obnoxious. The latest models of these apparently have dimmers, so in the evenings they actually dim right down so that they're not as obnoxious as they used to be. But again, that would be part of the report, where we could outline the pros and cons of potentially pursuing this and some of the implications. And we would talk, obviously, with our bylaw department to understand some of the issues. So again, this is just looking for direction if you want us to pursue this.
Further?
I was just going to say, I think when it comes to the beach and a lost child or something like that, I think that there would be some benefit to it. I just think we need to be cautious at how many we're going to put through town.
Mayor Smith?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's a great idea. It works well, certainly on the beachfront, and I think it might serve a good purpose at our entries into town, instead of the static or stagnant boards that we currently have. They could be changed regularly. They'd constantly be vibrant and bright. We could advertise events. We could do whatever on there, I'm sure. And if we can arrange that it's paid for, I think the catchphrase nowadays is OPM, other people's money. So if we can do it that way, I think it's certainly worthwhile having staff look into it and get back to us with a report.
Seeing, Councillor
Just one further comment. I see it being used too if beach area one is full. The MNR used to put signage out there. If it was full, they'd say full and go to the next beach. So I see that use as well. So, go to beach 2 or something. So anyway, that's just a suggestion.
And my suggestion would be if we could maybe see a list of our needs. So maybe if we understood, the police it's the first time I've heard that, the police are interested in us putting them up. It's an interesting comment. What worries me when sign sales reps come to town and say, hey, you should have a sign, is it's their business. It's the same with advertising sales rep. Every newspaper knocks on my door every third day, but I have to stop back and look at my advertising plan and did it fit? Just because they're building a special doesn't mean I need to be in it. Does it fit for what I want to do? So I'd like to see an overall town communication plan, I think, and that would be part of it. For directing traffic, for saving, lost people, whatever. Because if we put up signs and we say, hey, we can help you find kids, then we have to suddenly have staff that can instantly access those signs to update them. So I think it's a lot bigger than just getting somebody or either paying for a sign or getting a business to pay for a sign. Those are my comments. Deputy Mayor.
I would just add to that, since you brought up the communication of the town, I would hope that maybe our communications officer would also be involved in that and have some discussion.
Clear direction?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. Then the question has been read.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Committee members, having heard the question, I'll call for the vote. Councillor Boulanger?
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Vice-Volchi?
In favor?
Councillor Eagle?
In favor?
Councillor Smith?
In favor?
Mayor Smith?
In favor?
Councillor Stockwell?
In favor.
Chair Bray?
In favor.
Thank you. The motion carries on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed.
Next item on the agenda with other matters. Seeing none. The date of the next meeting is June 8th, 2017. And we will now switch chairs and go into closed session for Public Works. Oh, there's a motion. Okay. Sorry. I can read the motion. Okay. Moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Mayor Smith. Resolved that pursuant to Section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001, as amended, the next portion of the Coordinated Committee of May 11, 2017, closed to the public to receive information on matters relating to proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land.
Thank you. Members of the committee, having heard the question, I'll call for the vote. Councillor Belanger,
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Blancochi,
In favor?
Councillor Ego,
In favor.
Councillor Smith,
In favor.
Mayor Smith.
In favor?
Councillor Stockwell,
Favor.
Chair Bray.
In favor.
Thank you. The motion carries on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed.